I agree with Gettleman on the Eli point and trade. The guy's making bottom 5 quarterback money, and that's what he is. He's a bottom 5 quarterback at this point. I agree with him on that point. And I just think, look, the last guys in New York that tried to bench Eli, they got fired.
Man.
Gettleman don't want to get fired.
Yeah. I do agree with him. In general, not specifically. He's not bottom 5. Eli is not bottom 5. I know the narrative was out there since 2015. He was bottom 5 last year. In spots, in moments, Eli did play mid-pack.
Top 6.
Not top 6, bottom 6. He did play mid-pack football, but to his point about the money, what were we talking about? $17 million in cash, $23 million cap hit. That puts Eli right in the conversation of middle to low end in terms of compensation. And there are guys who are going to get paid more who probably are lesser of a quarterback if you're talking about what he means to the franchise as well as just production. Eli's still an ambassador. He still represents the New York Giants the right way. And like you said, there's so much equity in Eli and the name and the brand that you don't want to distance yourself from it prematurely or that fan base will react. Smart move.
Yeah, I look at Dave Gettleman, and he says you got to understand the process, and just because you don't get it, everybody makes this about you let go of Odell Beckham Jr. and you kept Eli, and it makes it an Odell versus Eli debate. And really, when you start to look at what he did here, he is building, and he believes in building a team from the inside out. And they have failed miserably in that department. Nobody looks at Kevin Zeitler is a damn good football player on the inside. They got him from Cleveland. They picked
Who is he?
He's a guard from Cleveland. He's a first-rounder from Cincinnati, okay? So he is a really good football player. Then they got a first-rounder and a third-rounder, and those guys aren't going to cost any money for the next 5 years, 4 years for the third-rounder, 5 years for the first-rounder. He's a 17th overall pick. So to me, what he's doing makes perfect sense. And then ultimately, this is a copycat league, and who's had the most success in the last 2 years as far as developing a quarterback is concerned? It's the Kansas City Chiefs, your team. They let their young quarterback, under the tutelage of Alex Smith, learn how to play the game, and then they unleashed him, and he won an MVP. They're looking at the same thing this year in Giants land. Let Eli groom a young kid, let that kid take over after a year under that tutelage. I mean, it's a game plan.
2 points from my perspective. Number one, Eli's getting paid what he's getting paid because he earned it, number one, by winning 2 Super Bowls, correct? I mean, we got to give him that credit.
Kobe contract, we going there?
I'm just saying that he's been doing it for a long. That's 100% right, but it is what it is. He's still the best option they have. Right. Who else are they going to play for him now?
He'll stink on the Super Bowl too. Should they still be paying him?
Yes. Yeah, the answer is yes.
They should.
Yeah.
They always played the offensive line. You kidding me? But the other point though is Gettleman. I think he's responsible for what's going on right now. But I'm not. I don't really consider it a mess right now. To what you were saying, Mark. I mean, you look at it and you say, okay, they did trade away their best player. They are stuck with Eli Manning right now, who did play well the second half of the season, or he played winning football the second half of the season. But the next point, though, is that you do have value in that trade that you got for Odell Beckham. You got the 17th pick. You've got high draft choices now. You got 2 in the first round. You're going to get your rookie quarterback if you want to get Haskins with that 6th pick. You're going to have him. Eli can tutor him for 1 year, and then it's time to pass the reins over to Dwayne Haskins, let him go, or whoever else it might be. But I think there's value in the way he's done it. He's created cap space. They brought in Golden Tate. Yeah. Golden Tate doesn't compare with Odell Beckham Jr. No. But you got cap space to bring in other players now.
Yeah, it's
Zeitler's one.
If you look at, I've been a part of 2 teams where we had these D-days where they let go great players, Hall of Fame players. I was in Buffalo. Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, same day, bye-bye, just to create more space, opportunities for others. And being real, the organization says, if we're not winning a Super Bowl or really a true contender with these guys at this number and this value, and with Odell with this headache, as they were saying, why not reset and recalibrate? I was part of it in San Diego as well. Junior Seau and Rodney Harrison and then myself. They're just like, if we're not going to win this way, let's just go reset and see if we can win a different way, a different path up the mountain. So we just got to wait and see.
Interesting, real quick. Dave Gettleman, as I mentioned, is an inside-out guy. That's how he wants to build a roster. That's how he wants to build a football team. You look at every playoff game won this playoff. Every one of those teams dominated the line of scrimmage. And that's what he believes. Dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides. You're going to win a lot of football games regardless.
Coming up.